let's talk a little bit about the Florida Gators. Now, despite the season the Gators are having, they're sitting at 13 in the Rivals rankings, only one spot behind the Miami Hurricanes. But, Marcus, it feels like we have two programs moving in much different directions here. Miami, they are aggressive. They're out on the trail. They have flip targets. They have a ton of flip targets on that board. Whereas the Gators, it feels like they're playing a little bit more defense. And what I mean by that is take a prospect like a Carson Baker, right? Just a couple weeks ago, we thought, hey, maybe his recruitment's trending to Florida State. He's going to be there the same weekend that the Gators host Texas. But the Florida Gator coaching staff stepped in. They got Carson Baker to Gainesville that weekend instead of Florida State. It looked like they put a fire out, but now Carson Baker in Georgia Tech is starting to heat up. Carson Baker from the state of Georgia. Is Tech a real threat here to flip him?
Absolutely. I do feel like Georgia Tech is probably the biggest threat at this point. I think North Carolina and Kentucky are involved as well in this possible Gator flip, but I think Georgia Tech is definitely the leader there to flip Carson Baker just based on what we're hearing from the visit. Here it went very well,
Yeah.
and of course staying in the Peach State for Baker is appealing for him. A lot more stability over there in Atlanta with the program that Brent Pry or Brent Key, sorry, is building over there in Atlanta, and the Yellow Jackets are still undefeated. Definitely trending in different direction of the Florida Gators. So if I'm Baker, I'm definitely considering the Yellow Jackets over the Gators.
So another prospect that the Gators are going to have to play defense on to sign him is C.J. Bronaugh. The corner from Windermere was an early commitment of the Nebraska Cornhuskers before flipping that commitment to the in-state Florida Gators. But then just the other day, he tweeted that he recently received an offer from Ohio State, and it looks like things are speeding up because he has an official visit slotted for 2 weeks from now. Is C.J. Bronaugh going to be a tough hold for the Gators the way the season's trending?
Yeah, extremely. I feel like he's like a fish that you're trying to get in water. Like that's how slippery he is right now. I think he's been very solid with the Gators though throughout his process. He's their top-rated recruit. So if the Gators lose him, they obviously fall from that 13th spot. And who knows who else would drop from the class once he does. But yeah, I like Ohio State's chances here to definitely flip him and press him on the official visit. The fact that they came in kind of late in the game should scare a lot of Gator fans. And he's impressed with just the prowess of the coaching staff producing Ohio State Buckeyes to the NFL. I think that's something that is going to play a major factor. And of course, the fact that they're the defending national champions, the number one team in the nation currently right now. I think everything bodes well for the Buckeyes to flip Bronaugh, sooner than later.
I mean, it's kind of tough for the Gators to get aggressive on the trail when you don't have a head coach. What are top recruits saying? Like guys like KJ Ford, we mentioned CJ Bronaugh, but Kendall Gervil, Marquez Daniel. I mean, there's a lot of talent left on this commit list. What are recruits saying about the coaching search?
I think for the most part, they are kind of on a wait and see, type of vibe. As far as one of the commits that I've been in contact with is CJ Hester out of Cocoa, defensive back. He's kind of in that wait and see type of stance right now, but I think every recruit on this list is really kind of looking at their options. Javari Lucas did come out and say that he's locked in with the Gators. He's the one guy that I probably bet that will stay with the Gators regardless of who they hire as head coach. But I definitely think like players like CJ Hester is looking at his options, and I think he would definitely consider another school. Just based on who ends up in Gainesville on the coaching staff. So for the most part, I think most of these recruits are saying kind of the right things. Hey, we're going to stick with Florida no matter what. But I think once there's a different coaching staff and they see that maybe that coach for their position is not recruiting them as hard as another school, then I think it's inevitable that they'll likely leave the class if that happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what happens with the Florida Gator commit class. So far, 0 decommitments. Why do you think we're seeing 0 decommitments at Florida, whereas with Penn State, I mean, we saw 5 or 6 immediately as soon as James Franklin got fired?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of a wait and see approach. I think it's you don't want to leave a situation if you don't have a landing spot
Mm.
quite yet. So I think a lot of these recruits are just kind of waiting to see which school kind of gives them the best offer, which school would be the best position for them to jump into. I think they are still really feeling a lot of schools out. I think in this day and age of college football and recruiting, there's a lot of agents involved, and agents are really kind of trying to see which school is going to offer the best landing spot for their player or
Mm.
client. So I think there's just a lot of talks right now, kind of behind the scenes, to really kind of see what the best option is. And a lot of these recruits don't want to be too hasty and jump out of a situation if their position coach at Florida is indeed retained. So I think it's really just coming down to whether their position coach is retained at Florida and if other schools are offering a better option for them. But I still expect at least 3 or 4 flips from this class.